Join Kids Hut family. Stop, Tofu.
But why so? I'm just trying to get my ball out.
But see those red ants. You better be careful.
Thanks, Tia.
Sit. I'll tell you an interesting story. The Fox and the Sick Lion. Once upon a time, there lived a lion in the forest. As the lion was growing old, he was unable to hunt for his food. He thought that without food, he would die of starvation. So the lion thought of a plan. He decided to lie down in the cave and pretend that he is ill. And whosoever will come to meet him will become his prey. Being the king of the jungle, the lion announced he was sick and summoned the animals to come and hear his last will. The lion put his sinful plan to practice and it started working. Poor animals didn't know about his wicked plan and fell into his trap. Many of his well-wishers got killed. One day, a fox came to visit the sick lion. The fox was clever and discovered the trick. He stood on the outside of the cave at a respectful distance and asked,
"How are you, sir?"
I am not feeling well at all. But why don't you come inside to meet me?
"No, thank you, sir. I noticed that there are many prints of feet entering your cave, but I see no trace of any returning. Still, if I come inside, I would be a fool."
And the fox saved his life and informed other animals too. So Tofu, the moral of the story is you should never trust a fake person. What are you doing, Tofu?
I'm trying to water the plants, but this hose is broken.
Come, let me tell you a short story. The Clever Crow. The Clever Crow. One hot day, a thirsty crow flew all over the fields looking for water. For a long time, he could not find any water. Suddenly, he saw a water jug below the tree. He flew straight down to see if there was any water inside. Yes, he could see some water inside the jug. The crow tried to push his head into the jug. Sadly, he found that the neck of the jug was too narrow.
What should I do? I am really thirsty. How do I drink water?
Then he tried to push the jug to tilt for the water to flow out, but the jug was too heavy. He looked around and saw some pebbles. He suddenly had a good idea. He started picking up the pebbles one by one, dropping each into the jug. As more and more pebbles filled the jug, the water level kept rising. Soon, it was high enough for the crow to drink. His plan had worked. So, like the clever crow was able to find a solution to the problem by thinking and working hard, would you be able to find one to this too?
Thanks, Tia.
What happened, Tofu? Why are you so sad?
Tia, I am sad because I lost my bicycle last week. My friends enjoy the ride on their bicycles, but I can't. I wish they lose their bicycles too.
Tofu, I never knew you'll be so mean. You sound very selfish. You should stop this right away.
Sorry, Tia, but I was really sad. I don't have one, but my friends do. I just feel left out.
It's okay, Tofu. I can understand that you are sad. But wishing bad for others is not good. We should always think good for others. Come, I'll tell you a story about a fox who became a laughing stock amongst his friends just because he was very selfish. The Fox Without a Tail. One day, a fox was walking in a forest. Suddenly, he heard a huge snap, and in an immediate reaction, he jumped. But something awful happened to the poor little thing. He found his tail stuck in a trap, and this gave a sharp pain in his rear.
Ooh! Ah! That hurts so much! Oh! My tail is stuck in a trap! What would I do now?
After battling for long with his tail and the trap, he gave a final try to it, and with that came another snapping voice. Tears coming out of his eyes, the fox moaned.
Oh! My tail! My tail! I lost my furry, beautiful tail. What would I do now? I'll become laughing stock of my skulk now. This is so embarrassing.
And he walked deeper into the forest with his head bowed down in sorrow. When suddenly an idea struck his mind. He decided to call a meeting of all his friends.
Friends, I have gathered you for a reason today. While walking through the forest, I kept wondering. We have eyes, nose, ears, teeth, legs, all for some reasons. But why do we need a tail? It's a useless thing and keeps bothering us for some reason or the other. It either gets in way of our sitting or when kept outside is left for someone to trip over. So after a deep thought, I cut off my tail and want you to do the same. It feels great without that useless thing.
The skulker fox kept looking at the fox in amazement as to what he was saying. It's true, but nobody has really thought about them without the tail. It surely would be painful to do that. Meanwhile, a young agile fox jumped onto the higher place and addressed the skulk.
Are you saying this because you no longer have a beautiful furry tail? Here you are just talking about your self-interest so that you don't get embarrassed and feel left out of the skulk.
And the rest of the skulk went off laughing away and discussing as to how selfish and mean the fox is. In order to not feel embarrassed, he wants everyone to chop off their tail.
Tia, now I understood. I shouldn't be selfish and not think bad for others.
Come, I'll buy you an ice cream, Tofu.
Oh God, somebody help me. The insect has bitten me.
Oh God, come, let me put some ice.
Why did it happen to me?
Let me tell you a story. The Fox and the Stork. Once, a fox and a stork were friends, and the fox invited the stork for dinner.
Dear friend, I wish to invite you for a meal at my home. I will cook a delicious soup for you. I would love to come.
The fox made a delicious soup as promised. The fox was very clever and played a cruel trick. When the stork visited his home that evening, she was given a shallow dish filled with soup. Thus the fox could easily lap up, but the stork could only wet the end of her bill in it.
I have made this delicious soup myself. Enjoy your meal.
Poor stork did not say anything and pretended to enjoy the meal. At the end of the evening, however, the stork went home hungry. 1 week later, the stork invited the fox for lunch at her house.
Dear fox, why don't you come to my house for lunch? I am cooking fish for the meal,
said the stork.
Thank you, dear stork. I would be happy to come,
said the fox. The stork made delicious fish. When the fox arrived, the stork served the fish in a pitcher. The fox stared hungrily at the food, but he could not taste it. He had a thick snout and couldn't eat from the pitcher. So all he could manage to do was to lick the outside of the pitcher.
Did you enjoy the lunch, my friend? I made it especially for you,
asked the stork with a nasty smile. The fox remembered his cruel trick on the stork and had to confess that the clever stork made him learn a lesson. The stork enjoyed the meal while the fox looked on sheepishly and went home hungry. So Tofu, as the fox did bad to the stork did back to him too, because one bad turn deserves another.
Now I understand. Dia, how important is it to be clever?
It is important to be clever, but one should use it only for good reason, not to hurt someone. Come, I'll tell you a story of a clever monkey and a crocodile who thought he was clever but was actually a big fool. The Clever Monkey. Once upon a time, on a riverside, lived a monkey on a tree. The place was a paradise for him because just hopping on a stone, he used to reach a small island in the middle of the river, which was adorned by choicest and juiciest of fruits. In the vicinity of the island, there lived a crocodile couple. And every day they used to drool at the monkey, hopping in and out of the island. But the monkey was so clever that the crocodile couple never managed to lay their hands on the monkey. One day, the female crocodile said,
Dear husband, I have a plan to nab this monkey.
Ah, none of our tricks have worked with this clever monkey. What brilliant idea do you have now?
The female crocodile whispered in his ears, and all he could do was laugh sheepishly. The next day, when the monkey was busy feasting on fruits on the island, the crocodile very silently went and sat on the stone. When the monkey was done with eating, he was about to hop onto the stone when suddenly he realized that the stone is looking bigger than usual. He understood that it was a crocodile waiting for him. He called out to the crocodile,
Is that you, Mr. Crocodile?
No, it's not me. And the monkey thought, how dumb could the crocodile get? So he thought for a second and called out to the crocodile,
Oh, you surely caught me this time. I'll make your job easier now. Just open your mouth and I'll jump into it on my own.
The foolish crocodile opened his wide mouth with his eyes shut and waited for the monkey to jump. The clever monkey, who was watching the closed-eye crocodile, hopped on the head of the crocodile and crossed the river.
You couldn't fool me this time either.
By clear and clever thinking, the monkey managed to trick the foolish crocodile.
Ha 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 ha! The crocodile was indeed a fool who got tricked by the clever monkey.
Yeah, Tofu, and the moral is that we must think before we do anything, like that clever monkey and not like that foolish crocodile.
Tia, I guess we have come too far from our camp. When will we go back? I'm feeling hungry.
It will take some time, Tofu.
Those berries look yum. I think I can treat on them for the time being.
Tofu, stop! Do you even know what those berries are about?
They look yum to me. That is all I know.
But they can be poisonous. You are in the middle of a jungle.
Poisonous?
Come, let me tell you a story on our way back to the camp. On a long sunny day, there was a fox walking in a desert. Hungry and thirsty, all that he could see was miles of sand and barren rocks.
Oh, it is so hot. I need water badly.
He kept on walking and suddenly he saw a well.
Thank God, I finally found a well. Now I will no longer be thirsty.
He ran and ran in great excitement. The moment he leaped on the well's wall to check water, he lost his balance and fell in the well.
Help! Help! Somebody, please help me! This well is really deep. How would I ever get out of this place?
Nearby, a goat was passing the well. When she heard the fox, she went to peep over the well.
Hey, Fox! What are you doing inside this well?
Oh, goat! Isn't it too hot outside? I just came into this well to cool myself off. Why don't you also hop in and enjoy this cool and refreshing water?
Not even thinking for a second, the goat jumped into the well.
Hey, Fox! You were right. This water is actually very refreshing. I could spend all my day out here.
After After some time, the goat stops and asks the fox,
Wait a second. How in the world will we manage to get out of this well?
Oh, it's going to be simple. If you stand on your 2 feet and push me up, I can manage to reach to the top of the well and then pop out of the well.
The goat, once again, without thinking twice, does as the fox said.
Hey, fox! What about me? How would I get out?
Ha 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 ha. I guess you have to think about it on your own.
But I helped you getting out of the well. Who asked you to? You should have thought about the consequences before taking any actions. So one should look before one leaps.
Yeah, Tofu, always. Because you never know what danger you might get into. And those wild berries, they might have been harmful for you.
Yeah, dear. One should always check before taking a step further.
Look, there is our camp, and I can already smell the dinner is ready.
Yay! Let's go!
For your favorite rhymes, stories, and more, join Kids Hut family. Subscribe here.